This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis.
Ready to go on a busy Saturday. A lot of stories over the last few days. We've got a busy couple of days in the National Hockey League, and we've got a busy show ahead. Loaded up with great guests. Gentille from the Pittsburgh Gazette will join us. Talk a little Pittsburgh Penguins. They were involved in a game Friday against the Boston Bruins that got a lot of attention, got a lot of notoriety. Not necessarily for the right reasons. I got a lot of stuff on that game because that one play has a lot of layers to it. Patrick Williams will join us as well from NHL.com. He is the American Hockey League correspondent. Corey Hirsch, our friend, the former goaltender of the National Hockey League, former goalie coach, is now the radio analyst for the Vancouver Canucks. He will join us in hour number 2. Stephen Whyno covers the National Hockey League for the Associated Press. He is also coming up to talk all things NHL. And from SportsNet, Bukauskus will join us as well. So a busy couple of hours straight ahead as we get you set for Saturday in the National Hockey League. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles to follow us. We appreciate that. Lots of stuff going on social media. And of course, the hashtag for Saturdays, as always, HU Dog of the Day. We are looking for your Dog of the Day submissions. Send us a photo through Twitter, through Instagram. You can email it if you like to. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We select a winner every Saturday. The dog owner immortalized in our Dog of the Day gallery on our website, up on our Facebook page and the like as well. Lots of talk about dogs and the calendars that National Hockey League teams have out for purchase. 2018 calendars, the Bruins have one out. The Pittsburgh Penguins have one out. The New York Islanders have one out. They, of course, go to charities. The proceeds go to charities for shelter dogs and the adoption of shelter dogs as well. One of the charities on our list of Todd's favorite things, the list is up on our website as well. We had Thanksgiving Thursday. We had Black Fridays. This Recovery Saturday, perhaps? Maybe a little taking it easy after the big Black Friday shopping. Lots of people still braving malls, braving stores, getting up early. I do my best to avoid it. I'm a huge advocate of the online shopping. I like to do it. And if you go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, the list of Todd's favorite things, so many of them are available through Amazon. Yes, many of them are on sale as well. As I mentioned, it was a busy Friday in the National Hockey League. We had 14 games. There's 11 on Saturday. There's a small Sunday schedule, which is typical of the way the schedule works at this time of year. The greatest warm, fuzzy moment of Friday, I think, occurred with Brian Boyle and the New Jersey Devils. He and his family, part of the pregame ceremony for the Devils Hockey Fights Cancer Night at the Rock. Very touching, very warm, very moving. And then, of course, what happens? Brian Boyle scores a really nice goal. And for the second time in a couple of weeks since his return to the lineup to the New Jersey Devils, and when he's interviewed by Deb Placey on MSG, he is at a loss for words, and that is perfectly understandable. Just a wonderful, wonderful story. The not so warm and fuzzy moment maybe came in the Winnipeg and Anaheim game as Jets defenseman Ben Sherratt hits Corey Perry in the mouth with the butt end of his stick. There's kind of a scrum around the net. There's pushing, there's shoving, and then boom. No penalty was called on the play. Corey Perry has the evidence left on his bottom lip and chin. I expect there's a fine coming at some point. Haven't seen anything from the Department of Player Safety. I've been looking for it. Nothing as of yet, but I suspect that there will be something that comes from that. That was a little nasty. I don't know that he deliberately slid the stick out and popped him with it, but you got to be in control of your stick. And that was a nasty, kind of rotten play. We are in the midst of this whole Thanksgiving schedule that's evolved over the last few years. I hope it continues for the future. I'm good with it. I think it's pretty good. The best part is my schedule allows me to watch a whole lot of hockey games on Friday because they start in the afternoon, carry right through. I think it's okay to shut down the NHL for Thanksgiving on Thursday. Give everybody a day off, a chance to breathe, catch your breath, and most importantly, spend the time with your family and friends. And hopefully, you were able to do that. I was late to the party of the Thursday Thanksgiving, moving from Canada to the United States, but I like it. I think it's really good. I really like that Thursday holiday and extended time with family. Lots of people take a couple of days off. It's a great opportunity to showcase the league and have lots of hockey available. It means a busy Wednesday, which is okay. Thursday, quiet, and then Friday, Saturday, both busy days as well. What have we seen? What have we learned in the last few days? Nobody, or at least very few, understand the process of video review and how rules work in the National Hockey League. And I'll say that, of course, after yesterday's example of the game between the Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Black Friday the afternoon game. This is the only game on. That's the way the everyone likes it. The league and NBC says this is the only game. Everybody has to focus on this. So what happens is we have all kinds of stupidity that reigns in this game. And rather than simply gripe about the situation or fling stupid accusations on social media the way some have done, I'll offer some ideas and I'll hopefully offer some thoughts on how to help. So much social media stupidity that was occurring. Oh, the NHL doesn't know what they're doing. Sidney Crosby's in on the play, so the rules work differently. That's garbage. How about we try to understand the rules, how it works, how the process is supposed to go? The way the rules are written makes sense. It's just no one understands them. And that includes players, and that includes coaches, that includes broadcasters. That's the real problem. Nobody understands it because the rule book is written like a legal document. It has to be. So the reset, 3-2 game, Bruins leading, puck goes in front of the Boston net, Anton Khudobin swings at it, trying to fling it away, he lands on his back, the puck lands on his belly, Sidney Crosby swipes at it, scoops it, it goes into the net, and meanwhile the referee is approaching, he's watching the play from the corner, he's got his whistle poised, he's ready to blow the play dead at any moment that he feels that it's finished, and the whistle goes, the puck dribbles into the net, and what ensues next is a comedy of errors. The two referees involved, Wes McCauley, Chris Rooney, everyone's, they're veteran referees. They know what they're doing. They begin the process of reviewing, did the whistle go before the play was over? Did the puck enter the net legally? We can all see how that makes sense. You want to make sure that you get the call right. By the time it's over, we see better than very few, if any, understand how this rule works and how the rules work. It's a wild scramble in front of the net. The referee is trying to see if the puck is frozen. Players on both sides are flailing wildly at the puck. I thought the whistle had blown before the puck was in. I watched it. I wound the DVR back and watched it some more. Not so sure. Whether the puck is lying on top of a player or on the ice, if it's not covered, it's alive. You're allowed to play it. That's what happened. That's okay. Even if the whistle had gone and the puck trickles over the line, as long as it is not touched after the whistle, it's legal. It's a bit of a challenge to wrap your head around all this. Players don't know it. Coaches don't know it. Certainly fans don't know exactly how the rules work. And that's the problem. That's when you get the wild, stupid speculation and people flinging dumb accusations. Oh, no one knows what they're doing. Sidney Crosby gets treated differently. No. TV coverage didn't help. And I'm not sure why, but we're all trying to figure out what's going on. And there's people guessing, and that looks bad. Starts with the referees and the league. They have to be the leaders in this. On the play like this, you must have the referees tell you what's going on. To simply say the play is under review, okay, you've made an announcement, but that doesn't help anyone. You have no idea what is being looked at. That's the absolute minimum, and that's not good enough. If you say the play is under review to determine whether or not the play was dead before the puck went into the net, everybody understands that. Everybody then knows what's going on. And then you don't have the dumb guesswork and wild, stupid speculation. That's what we need. That's got to be the first step. Teams, fans, broadcasters, everybody needs to know what's going on. Then, once you've made that determination, whether or not it was a legal play, whether or not the puck went in, it's a good goal, or it's not a good goal, then you need to be clear in your explanation of what happened, what the ruling was. Saying the ruling on the ice is overturned when we don't have any context as to what is actually being reviewed does not help, does not provide clear and transparency in the process that helps everyone understand the rules. That's why you have all the players, that's why you have all the coaches, and especially all the fans with confused looks on their faces. I know that the game between the Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins is a very unusual situation. That's not one that happens 5 times a game. I get it. But if you don't explain it, then you can't blame people for bitching about how it's handled. All it takes is an explanation of the process. And simply posting the basics of the circumstances on their website. A goal review was initiated in such and such a game. The ruling was no goal. The ruling was overturned due to rule number whatever. That's not good enough. This is an opportunity to help your fans understand the game better. Take advantage of it. Burying this story on your website, 3 submenus deep, does not help you. It looks like you're not having transparency in the process. You have to go through 3 submenus to get to the situation room, and then you got to find it. This is our ruling. Nothing more to see here. Move along is what you're presenting. That's not good enough. I watched the NBC broadcast. Mike Emmerich was trying to explain it. He said that there would be a word-for-word explanation. They did put it up. That's good. They eventually put it up because it seemed like the producers would rather move along than go through this ruling. They had to wait till a commercial break and came back for it. Here's an opportunity for the league. Help your fans. Help them understand what the rules are. You do these spiffy videos for every suspension and player discipline, suspension and the like for suspensions. Why don't you do one here? Take the time, put it together, do the voiceover. It'll take you an hour. Put it up on the website so everyone understands clearly what the rule is, why a goal is allowed or why a goal wasn't allowed. I have always been a proponent of video review. I think it's good for the game, getting the calls right. I still believe it. I believe it can be used in more situations, but also the process between the Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins and that goal and whether or not to allow it took 10 minutes to go through. There is no reason for that. If everyone is clear on what the rules are and everyone is clear on what is being reviewed, what can and can't be challenged, then there is no way this process takes 10 minutes. A part of the delay in getting the game going again is explaining the rules to everyone. If everyone understands what the rule is, why a goal is allowed or disallowed, you expedite the process. Not just this one time, but every time. This is what needs to take place. Clear explanation, starting with the officials. That's great if you want to have a little huddle in the crease around the penalty box. Make sure everyone is on the same page and understanding. But then you have to tell the rest of the world what is going on. You can't keep it to yourself and saying, goal is under review. That's not good enough. We're reviewing to see if the puck went in before the play was dead. I can understand that. That's simple enough. That ends all the wild, stupid speculation and all the garbage and nonsense that gets churned out after that. That would be a big help. It's an opportunity. It's a learning opportunity for fans. It's a teaching opportunity for the league, their officials. They've got to be better. Help your fans understand the rules. If you don't understand the rules, why are you watching the game? This is a great opportunity. Let's do it. Let's use it that way. at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, Twitter and Instagram handles. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is the email. Busy program coming up. Patrick Williams later on this hour. Sean Gentille will join us in the next segment. We'll talk a little Pittsburgh Penguins and more. Corey Hirsch, analyst for the Vancouver Canucks, will join us. Stephen Whyno from the Associated Press and Kyle Bukauskus from SportsNet, all coming up on today's program. Don't forget, send us your photos. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Tweet them to us. Put them up on Instagram. Your name, the dog's name. We like dogs. We like dog photos. We pick a dog of the day every Saturday. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back after the break. So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff, the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Nova Product Design is designed for manufacturing. Nova Product Design can get the job done with mechanical and industrial design. Nova Product Design is also fully functional for laser cutting, water jet cutting, plating, coatings, and more. Nova Product Design, innovative design and the latest technologies. Nova Product Design can design, build, and test any required types of prototypes and beta units. Visit novaproductdesign.com. We're looking for your Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day nominations every Saturday. Now you can send them through Instagram. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Send us a photo of your dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate them as the HU Dog of the Day. Include your name, the dog's name, and any other cool details you want. We choose a winner and add them to the Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Welcome back. It's Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition. Here's Saturdays and Sundays, streaming live at hockeyunfiltered.com and on the Hockey Unfiltered app, powered by Primetime Radio. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Today's hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Send us photos of your favorite pooch. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We'll pick a winner before the hour is up. Busy show today. Busy games, with games yesterday in the National Hockey League. Another busy Saturday with 11 all-evening contests. A chance to catch your breath and recover a little bit. One of those games being the Pittsburgh Penguins hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning. Pens were involved in quite a game yesterday against the Boston Bruins. Sean Gentille covers the Pens and the National Hockey League for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Follow him on Twitter at Sean Gentille. He joins us on the line now. So Sidney Crosby scored yesterday. Sean, everything's fine with the Penguins again now, right? Everything's good?
Oh yeah. It's all going according to plan. There's definitely nothing to worry about here whatsoever.
Move along. Nothing more to see here. Kind of like after that goal review yesterday in Boston. I don't know if how much you've had a chance to talk to players or what, but it seems as though the players were as confused as anyone about what was going on. And if you stop and break it down and look at it, the right call was made. It just took far too long to get there, and nobody exactly knew what the rule was.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. We had we had Pitt Miami college football game going on here like at the same time. So Pitt ended up knocking off Miami. It was completely shocking. And so that's going on one TV, and then on the other, you have the review situation. I mean, it was crazy. we're watching football, and then you're like, wait, are they still reviewing this goal? How it felt like it took 20 minutes. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, well, that didn't quite 20, but it was over 10 as I went through it. So now the shifting back to the Pittsburgh Penguins, there will be a lot of focus on this game because it is the second of back-to-back games. That has been a bit of a thing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Evgeny Malkin has missed some time with injury. Do we know yet whether it's going to be Matt Murray that goes again today, or will he get a rest?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go with Tristan Jarry to start the back end of this, and it's funny, I think obviously early in the season, that first game the Penguins played against the Blackhawks was a train wreck. But one of the other big sort of, warning signs, because it's still early enough, this level yet or whatever, but the way they played in the back end of a back-to-back against the Lightning was a huge one. It's a position that they've struggled in already. That was sort of the first kind of that was another sort of example of Antti Niemi, really struggling. That's part of the reason he's no longer on the roster. So it is funny that they find themselves in this position again, playing the Lightning in the second half of a back-to-back, and kind of hoping that their backup goalie holds down the fort.
So after today, it's 25 games played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's not early. It hasn't been early for a number of weeks, but I don't think there's reason for the Pittsburgh Penguins to be overly panicked, overly worried, or concerned about them not having their traditional spot up near the top of their division. I think they have talent, they have ability, they'll be able to get themselves in the playoff. I think what's surprising as much as anything is that there is competition from some unexpected sources within their division, and that's making their job a little bit tougher.
Absolutely, and they've, it's tough to make up those points and kind of gain that ground when you're not playing against the teams in your division. I mean, they've played 3 games against Metro Division teams. It's unbelievable. They've spent a crazy amount of time on the West Coast playing West. They played 13 or 14 games against Western Conference teams already. I mean, that's amazing. So, the schedule hasn't done them any favors. I think they're going to continue. We're going to continue to see secondary scoring be a problem for them, unless they make a move, and that's not going away anytime soon. But yeah, the fact that they've really only played the Capitals. They haven't been able to really stack up against those surprising teams, against the Devils of the world and whatnot. And I think we're going to get a better idea of what they're about pretty soon.
They've also played 15 road games, which is also something else. And this is one of the things where people are pointing the finger at the Pittsburgh Penguins saying, gee, I don't know, is it been too much? They've won back-to-back Stanley Cups. They've played so much hockey, but you have to look at a little bit deeper. The goal differential, even I can put that away on the early season Antti Niemi time, that has been corrected. And I think it's just a matter of if they can get Malkin back in the lineup, if everybody's a little bit healthy, then you have a chance to at least get comfortable with your top 9 line combinations.
Absolutely. And we talked about this one. It was a crazy streak for them. They have most back-to-backs in the league. They've already gotten the decent chunk of those the way. They've done their Western Canada trip already. I mean, I think if you look at where they are, they should. The way they should look at it is they've gotten lucky. They've been able to weather the storm. Things get a little bit easier from here on out as far as the schedule is concerned. And yeah, I think that's sort of the approach that they have to take. The worst is probably over, honestly, as far as the schedule is concerned.
Sean Gentille is with us, covers the Pens for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. At Sean Gentille is how you follow him on Twitter. He's reassuring Pittsburgh Penguin fans that all is not lost, even though they are sitting outside of the playoff picture in the Thanksgiving weekend in the United States. But 24 games played, that's a lot. The back-to-backs, that's a lot. But look at the rest of the Metro Division. how for real is New Jersey? Because now that's the debate: is are the Devils for real? They've played more than 20 games. They're having a great year, but how for real are the New Jersey Devils? They're certainly better than I think most people expected. I don't think they're second in the Metro Division good.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. But there is historically there's one team every year that just finds a way to punch above their weight class for the duration of the season. I think you can argue that the Columbus Blue Jackets did that last year. We saw it with the Flames a couple years ago. Every year there's some surprise team that that their performance isn't necessarily backed up by analytics. They're getting lucky as far as the PDO aspect of things is concerned. I think you can make a pretty good argument that that's the Devils this year. But all at the same time, all the wins count, and they're banking points now, and we've seen it year after year. Maybe there's some luck involved, but it's possible to stay lucky for a whole season. It happens a lot.
Are the Columbus Blue Jackets as good as they have been this year? First place in their division with 31 points after 23 games. Are they that good in your eyes?
I think they're better this year than they were last year. There was
Agreed.
A lot of, again, all the points count. Results matter. Like that's you. I'm not trying. That streak that they had was, it was clicking at a crazy high level. They were just getting all world goaltending. I mean, that bunch of stuff fell in place for them last season, to go on the run that they did. But I feel like the way they're doing it now, it seems like it's a little bit more sustainable, and I think they're building on the success that they had last year. Okay,
so now I got to ask you about the New York Islanders, who have had a few struggles, but also have won a few games and won the last two in overtime against Philadelphia Flyers. But I didn't pick them to get in the playoffs, but after watching them through the first part of the season, they could be one of those teams that sneak in too.
Absolutely. It's crazy. This is, you look at the standings, and there's just so many teams, within just a handful of points, and it's true. It sounds like a little bit of the league won it above all else. Parity.
I don't know if Sean's still there or not, but it sounds like
the great teams aren't as great as they maybe, there's, but no, it's
yeah, we're gonna cut it off here, Sean. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's your phone or the phone's on our end. I apologize, but we're gonna lose you. Thanks to Sean Gentille from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, talking Pittsburgh Penguins. It's the Penguins against the Tampa Bay Lightning at home later on tonight. Follow Sean on Twitter at Sean Gentille. I'm not really overly super worried about Pittsburgh. I know I've talked about this, that they made the move for Riley Sheahan. I think that was a good move. Just helps them out. A third line center, that's an okay role for Riley Sheahan. The goaltending situation with Tristan Jarry, that's been settled. That's been sorted out. The defense, you got Chris Letang, who's healthy. I think they're okay. I don't think there's any reason to be super concerned at this moment. Like every one of the 31 teams in the National Hockey League, they're going to have a look at their circumstances and situation. But that's what I meant too about looking at your schedule. They've played a lot of games already. They've played 24 games. They've got more back-to-back games than anybody else. They've got 19 back-to-back games. They've lost 3 in a row, yeah. But at the end of November, I don't think that's a reason to be super panicked about the Pittsburgh Penguins and where they stand right now with what they have in their lineup with talent when they are a healthy lineup. Okay, Malkin's missed a couple of games. Oh, with the upper body injury. That's fine. He'll be back. He'll be lighting it up. Phil Kessel's been doing great things in terms of scoring. They don't have a double-digit goal scorer yet. But Kessel's got 9, Malkin's got 7. Crosby, yes, he had gone, a dozen games without a goal. But I'm not worried and overly panicked about that. Some of the stats don't look great. But you know that Gensel's going to score some goals. You know that Sherry's going to score some goals. and some other players are going to score. Patrick Hornquist is going to score some goals. I'm not worried about Pittsburgh getting in. And once they get in, then they have that Pittsburgh Penguin aura that everyone's going to see. Oh, these are the guys that won the 2 cups back-to-back. These are the guys that have Matt Murray, who has barely played a full season's worth of games, but has 2 Stanley Cups. I think Pittsburgh will be okay. Pittsburgh and Tampa, one of 11 on the Saturday schedule. We'll talk more about the games on the schedule today. Lots of guests lined up with Corey Hirsch, Vancouver Canucks radio analyst, set to join us. How about those Vancouver Canucks early on? A day off today, but they take on the Rangers on Sunday. Stephen Whyno from the Associated Press will join us, and Kyle Bukauskus from SportsNet as well, all coming up. Patrick Williams from NHL.com, he will join us in the next segment as well. It is a busy Saturday. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back with much more after the break.
There's special savings for Hockey Unfiltered listeners with our new ticket partner, Seat Giant. And Canadian fans can also purchase in Canadian dollars. Go to SeatGiant.ca, find the tickets you're looking for. Doesn't matter if it's NHL games, concerts, or any other event. You get a special discount with the promo code TODD. That's Todd with 2 Ds. Just enter the code, get the discount, you save. That's simple. Save on your next ticket purchase with Hockey Unfiltered and Seat Giant. The best way to get set for the busy Saturday night of hockey is with Hockey Primetime. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, host Connor McKenna whips you around the league for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game starts. Plus, he'll give his own spin on the biggest stories in the National Hockey League. Hockey Primetime with Connor McKenna. Sometimes serious, sometimes a little goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Search engine optimization is the key to success for your online business. It can be the key to success for any business. 1-844-SEO-LEAD is the number to call to get your business at the top of all searches. An official partner of Google, they have the tools necessary to make your business the one people notice first. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now you can nominate your dog or any dog you love as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day through Instagram. Every Saturday, Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis will take your nominations for the Dog of the Day. Use the hashtag #HUDogoftheDay. Send us a photo with the dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate your dog. We choose a winner at the end of the show, and your dog will be recognized in the HU Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova product design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova product design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Nova product design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova product design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more.
Welcome back. It's Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, streaming live at hockeyunfiltered.com and on the Hockey Unfiltered app. It's powered by Primetime Radio. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Yes, we're looking for your Dog of the Day nominations. We do it every Saturday. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day via Twitter, via Instagram. Send us a photo, little story that goes along with it, your name, the dog's name. We pick a winner every Saturday. The photo goes up on our Facebook page and up in the gallery, of course, on our website at hockeyunfiltered.com. Busy show today, lots to get into with 11 games on the Saturday schedule, lots of guests to get to as well, including our friend Patrick Williams, who works for NHL.com, covering the American Hockey League and Winnipeg Jets. You can follow him on Twitter at PWilliamsNHL. He joins us on the line now. Hey, Patrick, before we talk too much about the American Hockey League, I got to ask you a little bit about the Winnipeg Jets team. And boy, oh boy, everyone that has seemed to find their way into the Winnipeg Jets lineup from the Manitoba Moose seems to have found their way in and found a nice role within the parent club.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good example of what player development can do for your team if you do it right and you do it correctly and if you're patient. And the Jets are nothing if not patient. They've been patient now, and so have their fans for going now on 6 years, and it's been a long road for them, but right now we're starting to see that that patience really pay off. They get a lot of contributions from a lot of different people in that lineup, and that's what good teams do. They don't rely on one or two players every night. Every night it's somebody different chipping in and helping out, and we're seeing that now with the Jets, and they look as good as I've ever seen them in my 6 years of following them. So it's a good time to be a Jets fan. If you're looking to see what player development can do for your team and how far it can take you.
It seems like this is the perfect example of when a player gets injured. If there is a call to the minor league team as well, it's great that they're in close proximity, which makes it even easier and better. But there's a call up. Okay, here's the need. Whether it's on defense, whether it's on the wing, whether it's at center, we have someone that we can send up to the parent club that is going to fit in and understand the system and understand the role that's needed to be played. Oh, did we lose Patrick? Looks like we may have lost Patrick. That's a shame. But the Winnipeg Jets just seem to have it all going on right now with what they've been able to accomplish, climbing all the way up in the standings to second in the Central Division. They have surprised me, but now they're only within a couple of points of the St. Louis Blues. Just 2 points back of the St. Louis Blues. We all talked about how hot a start the St. Louis Blues have been, how good a team that they have been. Well, after the initial first few games and finding their way and getting their feet underneath them, the Winnipeg Jets have done exactly the same thing with their lineup, and they have been sensational. So it's been great to see. It's been wonderful to see for the Winnipeg Jets, and not just because they've been getting contributions from one player or two. Last year it was Patrik Laine who was getting all the attention, having a great rookie season, piling up goal after goal after goal. Well, he's the co-leader in the team with 11 goals, but this year he's tied with Mark Scheifele, who also has 25 points and is tied for the team lead with Blake Wheeler, who has 20 assists from setting up Mark Scheifele and others on the team. So that's that's something special by the Winnipeg Jets and what they have been able to accomplish so far. To be at this point of the season, just passing the quarter point, and now just within a couple of points of the St. Louis Blues for top spot in the Central. They've been something to see. Blues got a lot of attention, but the Jets are right on their heels. A win tonight, a regulation loss for the Blues, and Winnipeg will take over top spot in the Central Division. And notice this year that with the Winnipeg Jets, no one's really talking about Dustin Byfuglien. There was a lot of talk about Dustin Byfuglien last year, and was he playing defense properly? Was he always going for the big hit? Was he always trying to make an impact, literally? Not nearly as much talk about Dustin Byfuglien. There's been a lot of focus on their top two lines, whether it's Scheifele and Blake Wheeler, and what a great tandem they have been together. Kyle Connor, who was called up and has fit right into that lineup seamlessly for the Winnipeg Jets. He's been sensational. Nikolai Ehlers is having himself some kind of season. He was sizzling hot there for a week or two. Cooled back off to a more sustainable pace for Nikolai Ehlers. But if your top two lines are going and scoring as prolifically as has been the case for the Winnipeg Jets, you are going to win a lot of games, not to mention the sensational goaltending that they have been receiving from Connor Hellebuyck. 12 wins on the season now. Last year, it looked like Connor Hellebuyck had the tools to be the number one goaltender. It was going to be he and Michael Hutchinson that would go back and forth. They would battle for the top spot. It never seemed like either one of them could get a hold of it. Sure, the injuries played a part of it, but that was the tough part with the Winnipeg Jets. No one could get the goaltending. Signed Steve Mason, okay, a little bit of a stabilizing force for a veteran, but how much of the net is he really going to see going forward? Maybe as the season goes on, you try to get him a few more games to make sure that Connor Hellebuyck is not overworked in the final stretch of the season. 12-2-2, 2.36 goals against average, and a .928 save percentage. Those are outstanding numbers for Connor Hellebuck and what they've been able to achieve. But everybody that's been called up too from the Manitoba Moose, Brendan Lemieux has come up. He's fit in, played a role. He can play a role. There's still some growing and work that needs to be done, but he can play a role. I don't think he's as skilled as a Matthew Tkachuk type of player, but he can play that same kind of role. Looks like we've got Patrick back again on the line. Patrick, have you returned with us?
Yes, I am. Here I am.
Excellent. I'm pleased to hear. Sorry about that. We apologize for the technical difficulty, but thanks for being patient with us. I was just talking about Brendan Lemieux and having his spent time with the Manitoba Moose, and it seems as though he can come in and he's almost ready to make that transition to become a full-time NHL player right now. There's still some work to be done in refining his game and knowing when to be overly physical and when to maybe take a step back, but he looks like he's almost ready to go.
He does, and I think that's the thing with the Jets now is they don't have to rush players. In the past, probably out of necessity, had to rush a before he was ready, bring him up there. Then he's either on the bench, he's in the press box, he's not getting playing time, he's not developing trust in him. Now you can leave him in the American League playing 15, 20 minutes a night, playing to get his confidence up, and then when he's ready, then you bring him up. And then ideally when you bring him up, he sticks and doesn't return to the American League. So I think that's a big difference with the Jets now. They finally had that depth throughout the organization that they never had before. And kind of one thing takes care of another. So now rush players and mistakes, you don't create new mistakes, and it all kind of takes care of each other.
Are a couple of other players that I'm not so sure about are Nick Petan and Marco Dano. Are they going to forever be in limbo, shuttling back and forth, or do you see one or both of them sticking full time with the Jets at some point?
I think one of them will stick with the Jets. I think case because he's one of those players. I think he needs to be a top 6 player in the NHL, but the coach doesn't quite trust him to have that responsibility, and it's a chicken and the egg situation. So I think at some point I think Dano maybe fits in better in a top 9 or a bottom 6 role, depending on how you look at it. But Petan, I think I can see Petan at some point if you move him for something, just because I don't think he's ever quite really fit in with the Jets in terms of what Paul Maurice is looking for.
Is it just his style of play doesn't suit the type of style and performance that Paul Maurice and the Jets are looking for, or is it just he's close but not quite there in terms of talent level?
I think it's a style issue more than anything. I think Paul Maurice still has a little bit of that old school in him. He does like bigger players, guys that are physical, move up and down the wing and really crash and bang, and that's not Nick Petan's game at all. So I think it's one of those situations where the Jets don't really need him in the top 6, but that's precisely where he would fit best. And so I just think it's a fit issue more than anything.
You mentioned the old school of Paul Maurice, and since you did, I agree with you that he is a bit old school, and that concerns me as much as anything with the Jets moving forward and how much success they may have.
I think you'd be like a lot of Jets fans in that regard. I think Paul Maurice, he just passed in the 10th on the all-time NHL games coach list. At this stage in his career, he has his tried and true methods. I think that he goes back to when the going gets rough. Every coach has those little tricks or those philosophies that they go back to, and I think he's no exception to that. And 20 years ago when, size, crash, bang, that whole style of game was everything. And I think that's what he really ingrained in himself. And I think it's going to be hard. I think, I'm not sure he can change his philosophy at this point in his career so much. But I think he's trying to change, and I think there has been some change. But in the end, I think he is what he is, and he's.
Yeah, I think the Jets will live and die with that. I want to ask you about Michael Hutchinson too, and how has he looked playing for the Moose this year? There was some question about what his future would be within the Winnipeg organization, but how has he looked, and what do you see his future being?
I think he's looked solid in the American League. Last night he played. They were on the road in Grand Rapids. I think he had 37 saves and a win. He really his stock plummeted from a few years ago. Number one job with the Jets, and then Hellebuyck came in, and the whole Andre Pavelec situation finally played itself out, and then they brought in Steve Mason, and by this past summer, Hutchinson was kind of the forgotten goaltender in the whole system. So he's playing right now. He's behind top prospect with the Moose. So he's going to get the bulk of the work. He's in his third season. He's a workhorse as it is. And I think Hutchinson's they can flip in at the deadline for a draft pick of some sort. But I don't see him having a real NHL future right now with the Jets.
Yeah, that's understandable, the way things have gone with the Winnipeg Jets. Patrick Williams from NHL.com, at @PWilliamsNHL is how you follow him on Twitter. Thanks for this, Patrick. Appreciate your patience with our phone and technical issues, but thanks for coming on, and we'll do it again, I'm sure.
No problem. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks. Thank you, Patrick Williams, covering the Winnipeg Jets and the American Hockey League for NHL.com. But there's a lot to like about that Winnipeg team. They surprised me this year. I wasn't as enthusiastic about Winnipeg being able to control their emotions and control their taking bad penalties, and then not being able to kill those penalties based on what we had seen last year. I didn't know that the goaltending was going to take such a leap forward. Brought in Steve Mason. Okay, that was a Band-Aid situation. You knew, and you thought or at least I thought that they would be riding Steve Mason a little bit more. But whenever Connor Hellebuyck has gotten in the net, he's not been able to get pushed out. And it's been all good news for the Winnipeg Jets. 14-5-3 through 22 games. A win tonight for Winnipeg and a regulation loss for the St. Louis Blues. Winnipeg takes over top spot in the Central Division. Hard to think about when you talk about how good the St. Louis Blues have been early on in this season. That's quite outstanding. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, Twitter and Instagram handles. Dog of the Day nominations coming in. Hashtag AU Dog of the Day. Send us a photo, little story about you, your dog, dog's name. We like working dogs. We love service dogs. Yes. Do it every Saturday. We accept your nominations for the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. The photo goes up on our website, up on our Facebook page, and the like. Busy show with lots to get to. Corey Hirsch will join us later on in the program. Stephen Whyno coming up as well. Kyle Bukauskus from Sportsnet also. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, Saturday edition, back after the break.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Look, we know it happens. Life gets in the way, and sometimes you can't catch the live edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. But we've made it easy for you to catch up on the show you might have missed. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis is available as a podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Blog Talk Radio. You don't want to miss an episode. If you missed the live show, check out the podcast. Don't miss any shows. There's a test coming up later. Subscribe now. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Use the code Get the Savings. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis listeners save with Seat Giant and the promo code TODD. That's TODD at SeatGiant.com. Just log on to SeatGiant.com to find the best tickets to NHL games, concerts, or whatever you want and save. Use the promo code TODD. That's TODD when you check out and you save. Canadian listeners can save at SeatGiant.ca. That's SeatGiant.com and .ca. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing. Nova Product Design. Industrial design. Mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more.
This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, Saturday edition. Here Saturdays and Sundays, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, streaming live at hockeyunfiltered.com and on the Hockey Unfiltered app. We're also live on Facebook. We're live on Periscope, on YouTube Live, every Saturday, every Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. A busy hour number 2 coming up. Corey Hirsch will join us in the next hour. Stephen Whyno from the Associated Press, Kyle Bukauskus from SportsNet, all coming up as well. Lots of good stuff this past week. A busy week with heavy Wednesday schedule, busy Friday, and then now today a busy Saturday. Quite a week. We've passed the U.S. Thanksgiving mark. That's so many look as a mile marker and say, oh, look at the standings. If you're in the playoffs, that's good. If you're not in the playoffs, that's bad. And, well, it's not. The last couple of years, it hasn't been a 100% recipe for disaster if you're outside the playoffs. 3 or 4 teams in the last couple of years have been able to change their fortunes and find their way into the playoffs. So just because your favorite team is on the outside looking in right now doesn't mean that the playoffs are out of reach. Not necessarily. I've had a few teams manage it over the last couple of seasons. They get things pointed in the right direction. Sometimes it's a little line combination. Sometimes it's a hot goaltender. Sometimes it's some other changes or adjustments that are made. But a team just sort of finds themselves, gets on a roll, sometimes a change with a trade or a new player that is inserted into the lineup. Hasn't really started to occur yet, but now that we have passed the U.S. Thanksgiving, expect the does this team need a coaching change talk to start to pick up. Yeah, we had it a little bit with Alain Vigneault and the New York Rangers, who got off to that difficult start. That got itself sorted out. Rangers weren't that bad. They were just finding their way. And that's what a lot of teams are doing in the first couple of weeks. But now as you look at the standings, we're past the 1/4 mark of the season. Fans are going to look at it. Media members are going to look at it and say, this team's on the outside looking in. Things aren't going the way they should be. Maybe it's time for a change. Look for it to start to pick up. Teams that had expectations that are higher than what they've been able to achieve so far, they should be in a playoff spot, but aren't. That'll start to pick up. Edmonton, there's been a little of it the last day or two. After that waxing by St. Louis, they kind of got hammered a bit. Then they won against Detroit, but then they lost against Buffalo on Friday, so I expect they might start up a little bit again. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think the coaching and Todd McLellan's a problem. They're just not a deep enough team. Chicago is on the outside of the playoffs in the Western Conference. And not just a little bit, they're outside and there are teams ahead of them in the standings. If Chicago stays outside for too long, expect the knives to come out for Joel Quenneville. The other spot I can see it is simply because of impatience is Philadelphia. 22 points after 23 games, just lost a couple of games in overtime. Expectations by some fans were higher for Philadelphia. But when you've lost 7 in a row, they've had a few years of futility, frustration, losing. They have a lot of good young talent in the system. We've seen the defensemen starting to come in, make an impact. Started with Gostisbehere, continue with Provorov. There are others on the way. There's good young forward talent as well. But then, here we are, losing a bunch of games again. There's frustration. I don't think Dave Haxtell is the problem. I think he's a good coach. I think he's been good for Philadelphia. I don't think coaching is an issue in Chicago. It's talent level. How much of their team has had to be turned over because of their contract status of players? And the decision to move Nick Charmelson to Arizona in the offseason, that one hurt, and hurt a lot. He just quietly logged a ton of minutes, was so strong defensively. Keith and Seabrook continue to get older. Sure, you lean on them, but the law of diminishing returns comes in. So expect a little more coaching talk about who's on the hot seat or who's on thin ice to start in the next week or two as the standings get looked at. Teams on the outside of the playoffs that shouldn't be. There will be coaches that are suggested to be on the hot seat. One other coaching note from a couple of days ago. Dallas Stars head coach Ken Hitchcock suggested that all the nonsense of reporting injuries as upper body and lower body or mid body or whatever be done away with. Actually reporting what the malady is would be a nice change. Oh, there's a whole bunch of old fart analysts on radio and TV and the like that said, oh, they'll still lie, and they'll just tell you it's the left hand instead of the right hand. Oh, it'll still happen. This is exactly the kind of thing we'd like to get past. Don't we deserve that? Don't fans deserve that? Wouldn't it be nice if we could actually be treated like adults and intelligent people? I mean, the CIA level secrecy about injuries, is it really necessary? Only time you actually hear about anything is when a player is out of the lineup. There's players on every team that have bumps and bruises and are hurt. There's all kinds of stories that we hear about after the fact when a team is eliminated in the playoffs that a player was playing with an injury. That's when there's a report. Couldn't we just treat the fans, treat the public, treat people who pay to see the games, who pay attention, with a little bit more respect? Give them an honest answer. I'm not looking for personal medical details. There are some things that will need to be kept confidential for privacy's sake, and I understand that. But if a player has an ankle or a knee injury, isn't it time that we said it's a leg injury or a knee injury and they'll be out of the lineup? Does it really have to be treated with national security level secrecy? It's a lower body injury, and we can't say any more than that. Let's ease up on this. Oh, but no, there's the old guard that will continue to say, oh, they'll lie about that. Oh, the players will get targeted. Well, yeah, I can see that a player might be given a bit more physical attention and every opportunity to hit him, you might. But are you really going to target and go for a player's knee and risk what that entails? Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's just stupid to suggest it. A little respect, like we're intelligent people, it would be a nice change. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is the email. First hour is sailing by. Hour number 2, a busy one as well. Coming back with much more right after the break.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing. Nova Product Design. Industrial design. Mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more. So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff, the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes.
This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis.
This is hour number 2 of the Saturday show. Oh, it's a busy one. Lots to get to in this hour. It's been a busy couple of days in the NHL with a full Friday schedule, 11 more on the Saturday docket. Coming up in this hour of the program, Stephen Whyno from the Associated Press will join us. We will talk all things NHL. Also later on this hour, Kyle Bukauskus from SportsNet. Often based in Montreal, where, it's usually pretty quiet and calm. Not much happens there. Everybody just kind of goes about their business, but there might be something that we can talk about with regard to the Montreal Canadiens. We'll have to dig deep for something. No Shea Weber again tonight, by the way, for the Montreal Canadiens, out of that lineup, still with that lower body injury. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles, Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, streaming live at hockeyunfiltered.com and on the Hockey Unfiltered app, powered by Primetime Radio. Happy to welcome back to the program now our friend who has taken on the challenge this year as the radio analyst of the Vancouver Canucks. Follow him on Twitter at Corey Hirsch. And how about those Vancouver Canucks with an 11-9-3 record through the first 23 games of the season? Corey, how surprised are you that the Canucks have been able to succeed as well as they have?
I thought that they would be a lot better than people had thought they would be, looking at their lineup and some of the signings they made. I think the concern was a goal in the summer where they didn't. These two guys really aren't number one goalies, or they weren't at the time. But both of them have played, I have to say, both of them have played extremely well. So that's kind of been where a lot of people didn't expect the Canucks to be at with their goaltending. And these guys have overperformed and really have solidified that position.
They've also been able to achieve a terrific record on the road at 8-4 through the first part of this season. Let's go back to last night for just a second. How difficult is it for an opposing team to play in a game, in an atmosphere like they had in New Jersey last night with Brian Boyle and all that he has gone through, the pregame ceremonies? How difficult is that for the opposition? I mean, it's wonderful. You feel great for Brian Boyle, but as the opposing team, you're in a bit of a bind, aren't you?
No question, because you're sitting there and you're the other team's getting fired up over this stuff, and what a great night for Brian Boyle, and just the hockey fights cancer in general. But for the Canucks, yeah, that does make it a little bit difficult. You're sitting there, you're waiting for the game to start. The other team's got motivation on their side to play for a teammate, and the Canucks had played up really well up until last night on this road trip. They've got a great record. Like, give the New Jersey Devils credit. Like, that team is, in past years, it's been quite boring to watch them, and that's what they've been known for. that's an exciting, fast hockey team to watch, and they can skate and move the puck. And the speed and the youth that they have, that's going to be a good hockey team in a few years and years to come.
It's also something that we're seeing with the Vancouver Canucks as they continue their roster revamping over the next season or two. There are a lot of good young players that have speed and have skill and are coming into the Vancouver Canucks lineup and starting to make a name for themselves. Brock Besser, every time I watch him, I mean, I am more excited to watch this guy and see what he might be capable of in future. He's been sensational since he arrived in Vancouver.
Well, yeah, you know what? I don't want to put him ahead of himself, but he's like an Ovechkin because he can score from anywhere on the ice. You give him the puck, and this guy, he's going to have the ability to score, and there's a good chance to score. A lot of guys, you give them the puck, and it's like, probably not. Probably just going to pad the goalie's stats a little bit. But this guy, he can rip it, and he's a scorer. He's a pure natural scorer. Those are hard to find. The last one I can think of maybe was Pavel Bure that the Canucks had. I know Naslund was a good player. I know that the Sedins were good players, but they weren't that pure natural goal scorer like this guy is. He can just rip it from anyone.
Yeah, that's the shooter part of it. But I also it seems as though his personality is the right thing for the National Hockey League, and it's different from the guy I'm going to compare him to because they play different positions, but they have a confidence in their own talent, in their own ability, and understand what they're trying to do, and have full 100% belief that they can do it. I'll compare him to Charlie McAvoy of the Boston Bruins, who plays defense, and it's a different kind of thing, but there's no rookie jitters, and people refer to it as swagger sometimes. I'm not sure that that's an accurate term, but he just has a confidence in his talent and his ability to get the job done.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not swagger isn't really the word. It's more of a it's just like you say. There's a confidence that it's not arrogant. It's just he knows when he's going to get the puck that he's going to shoot it, and if he doesn't. If it's not going to go in, he's going to make sure he's going to try to put it either through the goalie or he's going to make sure the goalie knew that he shot it. So I think that when you have a goal scorer like that, he's a piece that the Canucks can build around. And there's no reason I don't see why he can't score 30 a year consistently in the National Hockey.
And when you couple that with the play of Sven Baertschi, Bo Horvat, and a couple of others, you can see that, yes, the Canucks are it's taken a little longer than everybody wanted, I think, but they are moving in the right direction of becoming a younger lineup and a little more speed, a little more skill into their lineup as well.
Well, yeah, there's a plan moving forward, right? And that was the hard part before last year. Watching the team last year, it just felt like there was no plan. Future. There was you're just watching a team kind of flounder. But now there's a definite plan. There's a youth movement. They've got Pettersson over in Sweden, who's going to be a great player. Dahlon's boy, Jonathan Dahlin, is going to be an NHL player. There are some really good pieces coming. And just talking to the organization right now, they're trying to teach these players. They don't want them to just go out and lose and learn how to lose, right? You can put a bunch of young guys on the ice, everybody loses. Nobody learns like that. So they wanted to put together a competitive team that could teach some of these young guys to still learn how to win, and then kind of hold the fort until these young guys are ready to play.
Corey Hirsch is our guest, Vancouver Canucks radio analyst. At Corey Hirsch is how you follow him on Twitter. Canucks are off today. They'll take on the New York Rangers on Sunday. It also seems that Henrik and Daniel have not just comfortably, but willingly accepted their roles to move down in the lineup. They're not playing as much. And they seem okay with that. There will be those that point to, they got to trade him, but I don't see that happening. I think that they're accepting and helping the transition.
No, I think they understand that they're aging, and it's hard. It's hard to keep up with some of these players. I mean, you're 38 years old. You're trying to keep up with a 20-year-old that's flying around the ice. Are you kidding me? So they've accepted their role, and they're successful in third and fourth line, playing against those other lines. So I think they're kind of appreciative of it too, in a way, because it's hard to go out for them to like it's another team's top line every night and their top defense. However, last night they were great. They got 17, 18 minutes each, and that they're going to still get those nights. It's just not going to be consistent. Some nights they're going to get 10, some nights they're going to get 13, some nights they're going to get 18. But they're good human beings. They're good teammates, and the organization is lucky to have them.
You mentioned that at the start of the season, the goaltending was a bit of a question for the Vancouver Canucks, and how that would be. Neither of the goaltenders were seen as number one, but both have shown that, you know what, maybe we need to give them another look. Maybe we need to give them a little more time, because there is potential with both of these goaltenders. They've shown really well at different times.
I think so. I like both of them. I do. I'm leaning towards Nielsen, even though I'm a big fan of Markstrom and how he's played. But Nielsen, he's just, the Canucks may have gotten lucky there. Sometimes the hockey guys throw you a signing that nobody else really knows about, and he seems to be. I like his game watching him. He's very compact. His movements are very precise. He's a guy that I heard an interview with him, and he said a few years back he got himself a goalie coach in the summer, and he just kind of figured it out. So he's going to be an interesting player to watch in this next little while, and he possibly could be elite, but we have to wait to see.
Yeah, and the other interesting one is Thatcher Demko, who's in the system as well.
Yeah, and that's the other side of it too, right? Is now they have Thatcher Demko, who's tearing up the American Hockey League right now, which is great. So the Canucks are in good hands. It's just they need a few years, right? It's always, you just have to be fans. Canuck fans have to be patient. They're doing the right thing. And when they went for a Stanley Cup run in 2010, and this is the fallout. We're 6, 7, 8 years later. This is the fallout. Those players age, and you have to rebuild. The Boston Bruins are going through the same thing right now.
Good comparison. Yeah, good comparison with the Boston Bruins as well. Now, the other part with the Canucks this year is the change in coaching staff. Travis Green, I think, has come in and done kind of a nice job with the Vancouver Canucks. I think his approach and knowing some of the younger players from having them in the American Hockey League has transitioned nicely to the NHL.
Well, and that's why you hire within, right? Because they know the players, they know the organization. He knows how to use them. He knows how to win. So when a guy like Biega comes in for injuries, he knows how to use them. He knows his limitations. It's not guessing what this guy can do. He can put him in a situation to be successful. He knows what Jake Virtanen can do. He knows where his limits are. And that's an attribute to the organization for hiring Travis Green in the first place to coach in the minors, knowing that he had the ability. And he's come in, and where I'm most impressed is his line matchups. Like, his line matchups are impressive. A lot of other coaches, veteran coaches, school young coaches, and I haven't seen that yet. I haven't really seen him get out coached in hockey.
Is this something that maybe we see more of in the National Hockey League? Teams will draft players and bring them through the system and allow them to come through. Do you think that we'll see maybe more teams? Hey, this is a young coach that we think might be either a potential assistant coach or a head coach with our team one day. Let's get them into the system and see and develop them that way within.
I do. I think so. Coaching is so much different now than when I played. It used to be the tyrant mentality where nobody talked to you and it was just work harder, right? I mean, yeah. Coaches are so smart now, and they're developed. You can develop your own for what you want, and I think that is kind of what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot more ex-players get into it, so it'll be interesting to see what the trend is with that, because right, the guys are coming out of junior, they're well coached already. And there are a lot of good coaches out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that the way they develop them, sometimes a little bit in the minor leagues, is good. Corey Hirsch is the radio analyst for the Vancouver Canucks, broadcast on Sportsnet. At Corey Hirsch is how you follow him on Twitter. I hope you can find something to do in New York today. I mean, I know it's going to be really tough to spend a Saturday in New York while you have the chance, but good luck. Good luck finding something to do. And thanks for doing this, Corey. We'll talk again.
There's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
Thanks,
good luck with that. Corey Hirsch, the radio analyst for the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, I'm sure they'll really struggle to find something to do in New York City until they play their game against the Rangers on Sunday. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handle. Still looking for your Dog of the Day nominations. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send them to us through Twitter, through Instagram, and we'll pick a winner and put the photo, of course, up on our website, goes up on our Facebook page. We're just big fans of dogs. We're a dog-friendly program. Teams are getting involved. They have become busier and busier with their calendars. The players and pets. Bruins have one, Caps have one, Penguins have one, Islanders have one. Those are up for sale now through the team websites. They, of course, among our list of Todd's favorite things up on our website. Great charities involving animals and shelter dogs. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports. Coming up in our next segment, Stephen Whyno from the Associated Press will be with us to join us and talk all things NHL, and Kyle Bukauskus also coming up. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back after the break.
The best way to get set for the busy Saturday night of hockey is with Hockey Primetime. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, host Connor McKenna whips you around the league for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game starts. Plus, he'll give his own spin on the biggest stories in the National Hockey League. Hockey Primetime with Connor McKenna. Sometimes serious, sometimes a little goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova Product Design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova Product Design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Nova Product Design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova Product Design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Being on the World Wide Web is great. Being found is the tricky part. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization is the only way your business can get a leg up on the competition. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. For the necessary tools to make your business stand out in a crowded marketplace, 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition. Here Saturdays and Sundays, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Before the top of the hour, Kyle Bukauskus from SportsNet will join us. Get you set for a busy 11-game Saturday in the National Hockey League. Now we are happy to welcome back our friend from the Associated Press who covers all things National Hockey League. You can follow him on Twitter at @Whyno. Stephen Whyno joins us. Stephen, we're past the U.S. Thanksgiving, often a mile marker that many point to in terms of playoff position, but you're suggesting perhaps that maybe teams that are on the outside don't necessarily have to panic and believe their fate is sealed and they won't be able to make it into the postseason. Is this season different than years in the past in the National Hockey League in that regard?
Yeah, it's an anomaly because you look at how many teams are packed together in the East and the West. I believe going into Thanksgiving, or coming out of Thanksgiving, 12 teams within 5 points of each other in the Western Conference, and I think something like 10 or 11 teams within 5 or 6 points in the Eastern Conference. So it's not like there's a whole lot of separation. I mean, you do have those playoff spots, and after 82 games are going to matter, but being in 10th place in the East or the West is just as good as being in 6th or 7th. There isn't a whole lot of separation there. There's a few games. I mean, the same as are playing really well. The Lightning. You throw maybe the LA Kings and the Maple Leafs in there. But other than that, there's a whole lot of teams together in the middle. Not a whole lot of teams out of it, and not a whole lot of teams out of reach at this traditional U.S. Thanksgiving mark of the season.
Okay, so yes, there are teams that are close. It's only a couple of points, but we always hear the argument that it's not necessarily just the number of points, but it's the number of teams that you have to pass over. Does that play into it, or maybe not as much as it used to?
Well, this is what's made it so wacky. Is there are a lot of teams that need to be passed over if you're going from where, let's say, Montreal or Edmonton are in the standings. A lot of teams, but there is a lot more divisional and conference play in the second half of the season and opportunities to make up that ground. What makes it harder, and this is why this Thanksgiving rule is still in effect in some finals, is these 3-point games make it look like it's a lot better than it is, and like teams can come back from these big deficits late in the season. But there are so many 3-point games that it's you can't, if you're chasing a team like the Flyers and the Islanders, even if the Flyers yesterday were to beat the Islanders in overtime, if you're trying to chase them down for a playoff spot, you can't be giving up that extra point. You can't be, and you know other games are going to overtime and shootouts around the league, and that's going to hurt as well. And just speaking with a few players, they say that's why it's so hard to kind of come back. But when teams are so tight, it doesn't take a whole lot for somebody to go from 8th or 9th to 4th or 5th right now.
Stephen Whyno is with us from the Associated Press, covers the National Hockey League. At @SWhyno is how you follow him on Twitter, talking about the position of teams in the standings in the National Hockey League past U.S. Thanksgiving, often the marker cited by those that are and aren't in the playoffs. Okay, so let's start in the East. Who do you like that is on the outside that should be able to get in to the postseason by the time the year ends at the beginning of April? Pittsburgh seems like a given to me.
Pittsburgh's a given, and I think Ottawa is going to be a playoff team once all is said and done here. I think there's enough belief in Craig Anderson and Erik Karlsson and that team that they don't lose a whole lot of games in a row. I believe Ian Mendez from TSN in Ottawa the other day pointed out that the Senators have not lost more than regulation games in a row under Guy Boucher, which is pretty remarkable consistency for a team that on paper doesn't look like it has a whole lot of talent and jumps off the page outside of a handful of guys. And also you add a Matt Duchene to the mix. I think Ottawa's going to get better as the season goes on. And Pittsburgh right now sitting outside of the playoff spot, they're really by 1 point, which is why I think it's so hard to tell right now who is actually a playoff contender, whether you're in the top 8 spots or just outside of it.
Yeah, I like Ottawa too, and I know that there are many that are wringing their hands right now about Matt Duchene and how he hasn't been able to score, and the Sens have struggled a little bit recently, and there's frustration. That's not going to go on for the balance of the season. That's not going to go on for another 61 games. Matt Duchene is going to score, and he's probably going to score more than Kyle Turris would have with the Ottawa Senators, so I can see that. So with teams moving into the playoffs, somebody has to move out of the playoffs. Is there anyone in the East that you're a little concerned about at this point?
Yeah, I think Jersey. I think exceeded everyone's expectations so far, and you want to believe in that team just because they're the opposite of the New Jersey Devils hockey from the late '90s and the early 2000s. This is a young, fast team, very well coached, good goaltending in Corey Schneider. But I'm of the opinion that when it gets down to much time later in the season, that they're going to see the Islanders and the Penguins, they're used to this style of hockey, maybe hold up a little bit better over the 82-game grind than New Jersey has. And honestly, I could see the Islanders also falling out, but it's tough to pick 2 teams. Maybe the Bruins, if they keep going through the injuries, to fall out of the top 8 right now. But I could see Carolina getting in too. This is why it's so unpredictable right now, is that we haven't seen kind of who is actually good yet. Get the contract extension and everything settles there. Maybe it's going to take a little bit of the drama out of the Islanders season. Certainly Doug Wade has done a great job with that team, and they're getting very good goaltending right now. Carolina is a team that should be making a leap very, very soon. And I'm still not sure what the Bruins are. With Super Hirsch being on and off the shelf so far this season, and David Krejci going through some injuries. Brad Marchand is now out. That team has enough depth and young and experienced depth to make up for all these injuries over the long term.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting time of the year when you look and think, yeah, there's a team that I thought would be a little bit further ahead. Carolina is an intriguing one to me. It seems as though they did this last year and they've done it a little bit this year, although not quite as much. It seems as though they somehow find ways to lose games. I mean, they played the game on Friday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, for example. They were all over them in the first period, and then there's a little lapse or a bounce or a mistake early on, and bang, the puck's in the net. They're down 1-0, and then after that, it's quick strike, and then they're chasing the game afterwards. It's a funny thing in Carolina.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of put a finger on, because everyone thinks Bill Peters is a terrific coach, and I tend to agree with that. Babcock's coaching tree, if you will. There's something off about that team, and I thought it really would get fixed by the goaltending. I thought Scott Darling would be the solution there, but maybe there isn't enough talent there to kind of the high-end talent to make up for those sort of things. The Capitals have had some of those problems early on in the season too, where they kind of slump their shoulders after a mistake, and the puck goes in, and all of a sudden it falls apart. But they've got an Alex Ovechkin and Evgeny Kuznetsov and Nicholas Backstrom to kind of say they're good enough to make up for those kind of moments and trends in a game. And I'm not saying there isn't some talent there, and Teuvo Teravainen who went on a tear, and Jordan Stahl and Justin Falk and those kind of players, but there isn't the high star talent on that team. There's a lot of really good players, but there's something wrong with the psyche there that I wonder with Don Francis, as conservative as he's been, if he shouldn't have made a move for someone like Matthew Shane or Kyle Turris to give that group a little bit of a jolt.
Stephen Whyno is with us, covering the National Hockey League for the Associated Press, at @SWhyno to follow him on Twitter. Okay, so we talked about the East. As we look at the Western Conference standings now, are there teams on the outside that you like to improve their fortunes in the final 3/4 of the season and get themselves back into the postseason? How do you feel about Chicago? How do you feel about San Jose, or is there someone else?
How about Anaheim? How about Anaheim being out of a playoff spot right now? And all of them. I still want to believe the Oilers are good enough to make the playoffs, but they're running out of time. And this is why so many hockey people look at U.S. Thanksgiving or even Christmas and New Year's Day as you kind of got to be in at least close to a playoff spot. And the Oilers right now, having played 23 games, are 7 points out, 7 points back of either Wild of the Calgary Flames, and that's a lot of ground to make as early as it is. San Jose should be a playoff team. Chicago and Anaheim should both be playoff teams. And you'd have to look at maybe someone like Vegas falling out. You have to look at maybe Winnipeg falling out. But the Jets sure do look for real at this point. You're getting goals. There is kind of a gelling process that's gone on there in Winnipeg with Paul Maurice's team. That the Blake Wheelers, the Mark Scheifele's, those sort of guys are coming into not just being good players, but being great kind of franchise-defining. Someone's going to miss the playoffs in the West, and the Chicago Blackhawks are a really interesting case right now. That maybe there were too many changes in the offseason. Maybe giving up on Artemi Panarin was not the smartest choice. They did have to, because of salary cap issues, trade Nicholas Hjalmarsson. They had to make moves in the offseason for the sake of that, and maybe a few too many moves after getting swept by the Nashville Predators in the first round. And things haven't coalesced the way in Chicago the way everyone expected. Even championship teams, you've seen it with the LA Kings. You go through a salary cap, you go through some bad contracts, and it can fall apart, and you can lose it really quickly. And we might be seeing that with the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that may be the way the dynasties are defined going forward. Win a couple of cups, have a couple of seasons out of the playoffs, resurgence again a couple of years after that. I agree. I think Hjalmarsson was the one that Chicago was missing the most. And Vegas, though, I know they're sitting up on top of the Pacific, but I just can't believe that we're going to be here a few months from now and things are going to be the same. I think there's got to be a reality check. They can't continue to win 9 of 10 going forward in terms of their home games.
No, and even a good home team, they're going to have to play. And eventually, you're not saved out of them. And for a little while was really saving their bacon. I don't want to say I don't want to believe in Vegas. I don't see Vegas holding on to a full. People having fun, but you look at that team, and unless Gerard and if Gerard Gallant gets that team to the playoffs, he's coach of the year for me by a mile over anybody else. I don't care. You look at that team on paper, that should not be a playoff team. It'd certainly be fun and a reason why Barry Bettman likes to throw that competitive balance phrase out there. A team like Vegas, whose first year could make the playoffs, but there are so many good teams in the Western Conference that once they start playing road games, long road trips as a Western team, it will fall off. And teams like Anaheim and San Jose at some point, and it could be Vegas coming on the bottom of that pile.
Stephen Whyno, the Associated Press, at @SWhyno to follow him on Twitter. Great stuff, Stephen. As always, really appreciate it, and look forward to having you back again to talk more soon.
Thanks, Todd. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Stephen Whyno, the Associated Press. Yeah, I just can't wrap my head around the Vegas thing. I mean, yeah, it's great, it's fun, it's a neat story, but as you get to the midway point of the season, if you get to the three-quarter point of the season, is it really good if Vegas makes the playoffs in their first year? You're going to have a whole bunch of other teams screaming if they're in a playoff position. We had to give up so much talent and expose ourselves and allow this team to walk in here and make the playoffs in their first year. I don't know if it's good for overall morale if Vegas makes the playoffs in the first season. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, Todd@hockeyunfiltered.com is the email address. Lots more to come here till the top of the hour. A busy Saturday in the National Hockey League. Kyle Bukauskus from SportsNet will join us after the break. Lots to get to yet. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back with more in 2.5 minutes.
So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff, the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Nova Product Design is designed for manufacturing. Nova Product Design can get the job done with mechanical and industrial design. Nova Product Design is also fully functional for laser cutting, water jet cutting, plating, coatings, and more. Nova Product Design, innovative design and the latest technologies. Nova Product Design can design, build, and test any required types of prototypes and beta units. Visit novaproductdesign.com. We're looking for your Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day nominations every Saturday. Now you can send them through Instagram. Use the hashtag #HUDogoftheDay. Send us a photo of your dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate them as the HU Dog of the Day. Include your name, the dog's name, and any other cool details you want. We choose a winner and add them to the Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition, here every Saturday, every Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Oh, it's been a busy morning with lots going on. Busy Saturday in the National Hockey League with 11 games on the schedule, 14 for Friday. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice busy schedule, just the way we like it. A little quieter Sunday. We're past the Thanksgiving mark. Everybody's kind of pointing to that, looking at where their teams are. Are they in? Are they not in? What happens? Should we be worried? How worried and concerned should we be? Just talking with Stephen Whyno in our last segment about that. Hawks on the outside. San Jose Sharks on the outside. Anaheim on the outside. some of Anaheim you can put off to injuries. I mean, they have just been hammered by injuries this season. Starting the year without Ryan Kessler, just so many players have missed time with the Anaheim Ducks. Ryan Getzlaf has been out. Corey Perry's missed some time. Defense have been in and out. That is tough. That is tough. We'll get you set for the 11 games before the top of the hour. One of the games on the schedule, Montreal and Buffalo, spending an awful lot of time in Montreal. For Sportsnet is Kyle Bukauskus, Rinkside host for the NHL. Follow him on Twitter at SN Kyle Bukauskus. He joins us on the line now. Kyle, how do you ride all the waves of emotion in Montreal without getting nauseous on a daily basis? I can't believe it sometimes.
Yeah, a good way of putting it, Todd. Just find good restaurants to go keep your stomach at ease. I think that's an easy thing to do in Montreal when everything else is going wrong.
It's that may be the way it goes sometimes. But let's talk a little bit about Montreal first, because Carey Price is coming back into the lineup for the Canadiens, and I know a lot of people are thinking that, okay, great, everything is going to be fine, but there's just still so many questions with Carey Price. Are we going to see the Carey Price that has been the All-Star, the trophy winner, or are we going to see the Carey Price that we had at the start of the season, who was noticeably uncomfortable and struggled like the rest of the team?
Yeah, sure. That's a fair question. Absolutely. When you look at his team right now and the start that he got off to, and I think there's also those questions of, yes, just over 3 weeks to recover from whatever it was that was bothering him there. I think there is that question too. Is how is the body going to hold up in his first few starts back? So there is a lot of factors going into this game. I don't know if there's going to be a more closely watched game of Carey Price's career than the one here tonight, at least in recent years, just with everything that has gone on, and now he comes back to a situation where, once again, we're a little bit deeper into the season here now, but the Canadiens, let's face it, have struggled. They're on a bit of a losing skid here now. I thought they put together all things, given everything that was going against them Wednesday in Nashville. I thought they put together a pretty good effort just to get a point there, but they still lost in the shootout. So now you're coming back home against a Buffalo team that did play last night, but in a winning fashion. It's going to be one that I think there'll be a lot of eyes glued to, just as far as how he handles things, because this team does not have much room for error. We're a little bit deeper into the season now, past the 1 quarter mark, and they're still on the outside looking in and really have a bit of a ground to get up to get back into the playoffs. I don't think we're in a situation now where we're writing the year off by any means, but boy, they need to get on some kind of run. And I think the problem is, who knows what we're going to see from Price over the next little bit. You have to assume that he's not going to be anywhere near the numbers that he put up to start the season, because it was just so far out of character for him. But, they do need to get on some kind of run here, and if they are going to get back into the conversation, it has to be some sort of difference maker, because I'm not suggesting that this team, they are what they are versus what they have shown. I think there's a number of players that haven't really lived up to what's been expected of them so far this year, but there certainly hasn't been any indication, at least through the majority of the season to this point, that they're in the position to get on some kind of run here. But something quickly if they want to keep in the mix and not have it's ultimately lost at the end of it.
Kyle Bukauskus is with us, Rinkside reporter for Sportsnet at SN Kyle Bukauskus, to follow him on Twitter. Also working against the Montreal Canadiens tonight is Shea Weber is not going to be in the lineup tonight, the big, giant, hulking defenseman on the lineup. So that is going to make the focus a little more intense on the rest of the defense corps to try to keep the shots to a minimum and not overwork Carey Price in his return, correct?
Well, yeah, and I think it's just, finding the right kind of balance on that back end that works. Certainly with Shea Weber out these last couple of games, Jeff Petrie has logged just a ton of minutes, and he's actually handled things fairly well after a so-so start to his year. But, you've got guys like Carl Alsner, off-season acquisition for Mark. still kind of trying to find his way, and it really hasn't been the kind of player that many were expecting him to be. Mind you, he's not an Andrei Markov by any stretch. He's a little bit more of that stay-at-home type defenseman, but I think there is a little bit more out of him to give. And Jordy Ben has been up and down. He had a tough start, but he found his game a little bit in these last couple. Certainly was a benefit because his minutes went up a little bit the more ice time he saw with Shea Weber when he was still healthy, and he seemed to handle things not too poorly, at least. And it's been a bit of a struggle for the defense corps for the point of, as I mentioned, no Andrei Markov, no Nathan Beaulieu, no Alexei Emelin. You got that whole left side that was taken off this roster over the summertime, and then you're bringing in these new players in, and you've got guys like Brandon Davidson that's trying to stay in the lineup every day, Joe Morrow that's trying to stay in the lineup every day. They just called up Jacob Yarabek, who made his NHL debut Wednesday in Nashville and didn't look out of place by any stretch of the imagination. So you've got a bunch of different pieces there that it's still a long ways from an line, and certainly even more so when you don't have Shea Weber in the mix. So it's going to be a challenge for them, no doubt, to try to make things a little bit easier in their own zone, and certainly they're going to need some assistance from their forwards as far as making their jobs a little bit easier as far as getting the puck out of their own zone, because we've seen a lot of times this year they can get hemmed in for long stretches. The trouble really starts, and the workload of Carey Price goes up significantly.
What we have, we've seen those frustrations and struggles with the Montreal Canadiens at times this season. And I think as much as anything, that's been a little bit puzzling to me, because the head coach of the Canadiens is Claude Julien, and his theme through his career has been system and structure and discipline, and here's how we do it. And it's not as much about having elite level skill talent, because even when Julien hasn't had that on his roster, there's been disciplined play, and they haven't been able, they limit the opportunities against them, which keeps them in so many games. But that really hasn't seemed to be the case. There seems to be running around in the zone where we haven't seen it before with Claude Julien type teams.
Well, yeah, and the mental game too, Todd, has really been fascinating to watch with this whole team. And I'm sure you talked about it a lot on your show, but 9 times now this year over 8 games, they have given up 2 goals against inside of a minute. Most recently in Dallas on Tuesday, they did it twice against Toronto a week ago. How do you expect to contend and to be that kind of team that is responsible and that can systematically outthink teams and be kind of one step ahead, even though the skill level on paper doesn't necessarily match up on most nights, when you've got situations like that where you give up 1 goal against and all of a sudden it's 2, and then you've got yourselves dug into a real hole. And it certainly doesn't make things easier with the fact that they're one of the lowest scoring teams. I think actually after Wednesday they dropped back down to 31st in the NHL for goals for per game. So they don't have the offensive firepower to then dig them out of that hole. And then I think that's when you get into situations where guys are running around a little bit and they try to stretch the game a little bit because they need something to get going offensively. They need to try to force some kind of break, and then that's when you're prone to some mistakes and some turnovers and guys cut out of position because you're really pushing to try to get yourself back in the game after giving up goals in succession. So it's just been a real fascinating year from that standpoint too, Todd, and that how they handle things mentally and the ability to put things behind them in short order, and you just haven't seen a whole lot of that this year. We've seen games slip away really, really quickly from them after they play by all accounts a pretty solid 40 minutes a lot of nights, and then they come out for the third. There's a quick one that goes them, and then they're sunk. So it's something that's certainly worth keeping an eye on here as we move forward, because you still look at that group. There's a lot of guys that have been through a lot in that room. They were there 2 seasons ago where Carey Price was gone for basically the whole year, and enduring everything that went along with that, and the way their season just completely crumpled after the fact. So there's experience there in how to deal with things, and now it's just about trying to put it together in the situation here in 2017-2018, where once again you have your number 1 goaltender in a situation. I shouldn't say once again, because this is such a strange in how he started, but he did once again go through a stretch where he was out with injury, and Charlie Lindgren certainly, for the most part, held his ground, and even Anthony Niemi. I mean, this was a guy that was a laughingstock here so far this season. He gets the starter's job 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago in Nashville, and really had a really solid performance. So it'll be interesting to see going forward for sure, Todd, because this is a team that has been through some real ups and downs in the last couple of years, and now they're in another situation where somebody's got to be a difference maker here as far as trying to get this team back into the hunt before it's too late.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? And I guess partly because it is Montreal and the scrutiny is so intense from fans far and wide about the Montreal Canadiens. But other coaches have talked about it. We need to get a little confidence. We just need to get on a little bit of a roll, do some things well, and start to feel good about ourselves. It's almost impossible to put up that wall, to put up that bubble, to keep all of the outside noise and distractions away from the team, so that if you do have something that works against you, you have a bit of a bad break, it doesn't snowball out of control quickly with this team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I by no means can I resonate with those players in that position. Just from watching from afar. I mean, you really don't get a sense of what it's like for them on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not trying to suggest that it's an absolute madhouse whenever you come to Montreal and play in that market. When things are good, it can be a lot of fun. But I mean, as we saw here, there's been some ridiculous things said in the paper and on local radio, and it can snowball into a really ugly situation quick, where all of a sudden it becomes quite the job from a PR standpoint to try to fan the flames a little bit. And I think even it was Carey Price yesterday that joked that he said something along the lines of he's used to it by now, the kind of ridiculous just completely way out of left field type rumors. And we saw his wife Angela had to post something on Instagram, and it was kind of tongue in cheek, just to kind of shed some light on how ridiculous it's been the last little while. But she had a post there that said, I'm not threatening a divorce. I don't want a divorce. I don't want to move Montreal. She said. So I mean, that just kind of goes to show what it can be like at times as he tries to search for some answers and try to figure out what's going wrong. And with that, the pot gets stirred a little bit, and some things are said that are so far out of context and so far away from the truth, and it becomes quite the act from a professional standpoint to try to handle it all. So I certainly don't envy the players of the Montreal Canadiens in that situation. But at the end of the day, they've got a real good situation with the fact that they play in a building where, for the most part, it's packed every night. It's loud. It's passionate. It's a great atmosphere to play in. And but there is the caveat that when things are going poorly, there's some interesting things that can come out of that city, and it doesn't take much to start a fire. That's for sure.
Kyle Bukauskus from Sportsnet, at SN Kyle Bukauskus, to follow him on Twitter. I always appreciate the time, Kyle. Thanks so much, and hopefully we can have you back to talk in a more uplifting fashion soon.
Will do, Todd. Take care. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Kyle Bukauskus from Sportsnet. Kyle mentioned some of the stupid and asinine comments that have flown around about Montreal Canadiens and players over the last little while, and I understand that they're public figures and they are subject to criticism by fans. That's perfectly fair game. But the stupid, ridiculous, made up stuff that gets thrown around and then gets perpetuated down the line and presented as real, that's the stuff that's got to stop. The people that do that, those people should be punished. And those that reveal what is supposed to be confidential information, as was the case a couple of weeks ago in Montreal, those people need to be punished. They need to be held accountable. That is completely unfair and offside. But this whole suggestion by someone that Carey Price is demanding to get out and he's got to ask for a trade or his wife is going to divorce him, that's absolute garbage. And anyone perpetuating that stuff, man, oh man, those people need to be taken to task and held accountable for manufacturing and flinging that poo at the wall. That's absolutely ridiculous that has to happen. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Take you up to the top of the hour. We'll look at some of the big games on today's schedule, 11 of them on the Saturday schedule, our Dog of the Day winner, and much more, all straight ahead. Back with more after the break.
There's special savings for Hockey Unfiltered listeners with our new ticket partner, Seat Giant. And Canadian fans can also purchase in Canadian dollars. Go to SeatGiant.ca, find the tickets you're looking for. Doesn't matter if it's NHL games, concerts, or any other event. You get a special discount with the promo code TODD. That's Todd with 2 Ds. Just enter the code, get the discount, you save. That's simple. Save on your next ticket purchase with Hockey Unfiltered and Seat Giant. The best way to get set for the busy Saturday night of hockey is with Hockey Primetime. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, host Connor McKenna whips you around the league for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game starts. Plus, he'll give his own spin on the biggest stories in the National Hockey League. Hockey Primetime with Connor McKenna. Sometimes serious, sometimes a little goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Search engine optimization is the key to success for your online business. It can be the key to success for any business. 1-844-SEO-LEAD is the number to call to get your business at the top of all searches. An official partner of Google, they have the tools necessary to make your business the one people notice first. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now you can nominate your dog or any dog you love as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day through Instagram. Every Saturday, Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis will take your nominations for the Dog of the Day. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Send us a photo with the dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate your dog. We choose a winner at the end of the show, and your dog will be recognized in the HU Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova Product Design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova Product Design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Nova Product Design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova Product Design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition, here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow on our Sunday program, as always, the Fantasy 5, hashtag Fantasy 5 with Stephen Laidlaw, the managing editor of DauberHockey.com. 5 names for you, little help in your fantasy hockey pool. We do it every Sunday here on Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. Streaming live at hockeyunfiltered.com and on the Hockey Unfiltered app, powered by Primetime Radio, live on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube Live. Busy couple of hours that we've gone through today. A busy Saturday in the National Hockey League with 11 games on the schedule. Talked a bit about the Canadiens. They are hosting the Buffalo Sabres. Yes, Carey Price is back. 3-7-1, a 3.77 goals against, an 877 save percentage. What kind of game will we see from Price tonight? I don't know. Buffalo, they got a victory at home. They got a victory. They're coming off a win. Yes, I think many had unrealistically high expectations for the Buffalo Sabres this year. I like the hires of Botterill and Housley, but they can't fix everything in one summer. It's going to take some time. People are piling on Jack Eichel. Yeah, you know what? If someone offers you a $10 million a year contract, you sign it. You expect him to say no? He's a good player. I like him. I think he's going to be good. He's got some maturing and growing up to do, and he needs some more talent around him, but I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think he's a Connor McDavid player. I don't think he's an Austin Matthews player, but he's a good player. He can be a cornerstone for you for the next decade or so. Give those guys some time. Remember, when you bring in all new people, new general manager, new coach, turn over some of your roster, the clock resets. The clock resets. You got to start over. You got to give them a reasonable amount of time. There's more changes coming in Buffalo. They'll get better. Oh, and by the way, apparently, at Oilers practice today. Michael Camilleri is at center and Connor McDavid is on the right wing. Oh, that's interesting if that shows up. Boy, I don't know about that Edmonton team. I don't know. I'm getting away from stuff today, though. But Washington and Toronto, standings are kind of reversed from years gone by. Leafs hung on for a win in Carolina. Freddie Anderson, will he go tonight? Haven't seen officially. Braden Holtby should be the guy. Oh, man. I don't know. Toronto's good, but it's just the fans are impatient and think they should be better. They're a good team. They're not an elite team quite yet. Still some work to do. Tampa at Pittsburgh, anxious to see this matchup. Best matchup in the East, I think. The best team in the East versus the two-time Stanley Cup champions. Bolts lost to the Caps on Friday. We all know about the drama with the Penguins and the Bruins and the goal that was allowed. This will be an interesting game. Anxious to see this one. Stamkos, Kucherov, Nemestikov, are they the best line in hockey, or is it that line in St. Louis? Tough to say. Pretty close, neck and neck, head to head. That's pretty good. Minnesota's in St. Louis today. Wilder coming up a little bit. Charlie Coyle is back. That helps. They've won a couple of games. They got hammered by injuries early on in the season. Blues also dealt with a bunch of injuries, but they have thrived so far this year. Jay Bouwmeester is back now. Another divisional win for the Minnesota Wild would certainly help their cause. Certainly help their cause moving forward. Vegas at Arizona. I said this a little bit earlier this hour. I can't get sold on Vegas yet. Hey, they've done great things. It's been fantastic, wonderful to see them have some early season success. I am skeptical they can hang around and do it for another 60 games and make the playoffs. They certainly aren't going to be leading their division by the end of the season. I just don't think this is that kind of against all odds movie script story that plays out. Their home record is absolutely ridiculous. They are 9-1. They can't continue at that level, can they? And Arizona as well, Arizona. Mentioned this a bit earlier. St. Louis Blues are getting a lot of attention, but how about those Winnipeg Jets? A Jets win and a Blues loss in regulation, Winnipeg takes over top spot in the Central. That Winnipeg team is good. Connor Hellebuck, sensational. Couple of good lines that can score. Not taking bad penalties. Playing really smart. They are a good team. They're better than I thought they'd be. I wasn't sure that they had solved their issues of bad penalties and the like. And their goaltending was a big question mark for me, but they seem to be doing okay. Anaheim and LA, the late game. And despite all the injuries to big-name players, the Ducks are kind of hanging around. No, they're not where they want to be. They've had a bunch of injuries to deal with. LA has had only 2 wins in their last 10 games. Brooks Laich was on waivers. He cleared waivers. Although the Kings did just get Torrey Mitchell from the Montreal Canadiens, another depth player. Moved Michael Camilleri. All right. Jeff Carter can't come back soon enough. Now maybe they're starting to miss him. You had that exuberance and youthful enthusiasm at the start of the season. Everything was good. Everything was fun. I bet they could use Jeff Carter back now. He's not coming back for a while yet, though. Oh, yes, this one will be billed with the freeway face-off. These two teams don't like each other and all the rest of it. Interesting to see. That's the late game on an 11-game schedule. Our Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day winner, Brandy. Oh, that's a nice photo. That's a good girl sitting up nice and straight. We do it every Saturday. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. So you send them to us on Twitter, on Instagram. We select a Dog of the Day winner. We'll post the photo up on our Facebook page, up on our website as well. Don't forget, up on our website, the list of Todd's favorite things. We did it last year. Great response. If you're in the midst still of Black Friday, holiday, soon to be Cyber Monday shopping, you can go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com. A whole list of Todd's favorite things, lots of hockey-themed gift ideas. Click through. You can make the purchase. Simple, easy, no crowds, no fuss. A lot of the stuff is on sale at special prices as well. Let's thank our guests, Kyle Bukauskus, Stephen Whyno, Corey Hirsch, Patrick Williams, and Sean Gentille, all for joining us today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Don't forget, Fantasy 5, hashtag Fantasy 5 again tomorrow. Enjoy a great day of hockey. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis back again Sunday morning at 11.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Look, we know it happens. Life gets in the way and sometimes you can't catch the live edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. But we've made it easy for you to catch up on the show you might have missed. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis is available as a podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Blog Talk Radio. You don't want to miss an episode. If you miss the live show, check out the podcast. Don't miss any shows. There's a test coming up later. Subscribe now. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Use the code Get the Savings. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis listeners save with Seat Giant and the promo code TODD. That's TODD at SeatGiant.com. Just log on to SeatGiant.com to find the best tickets to NHL games, concerts, or whatever you want and save. Use the promo code TODD. That's TODD when you check out and you save. Canadian listeners can save at SeatGiant.ca. That's SeatGiant.com and .ca. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing, Nova Product Design. Industrial design, mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit NovaProductDesign.com to learn more.